The first one I'm going to ask is from Wukong. He's actually the scout for my team here in Denmark. He's first of all, shout out Kong. We call him Big Sexy. He's an incredible scout, dude. I don't know why they call him Big Sexy, but we call him Big Sexy.
He's pretty self-explanatory.
He's awesome. But his question was, what do you love about Haikyuu the most, about the anime?
Oh, wow. I didn't think this question was going there. Probably that the creators took the time to like put good technique into these characters. I mean, I watched a couple of episodes and it's pretty spot on. And honestly, you see a lot of the Japanese players in these characters. So you can tell that they've watched a lot of volleyball, taken inspiration from the national team and put it into the show. So that's probably my favorite part.
Gotcha. All right. Next one from Matt Seifert. What info do you look for and give your blockers during a match?
Ooh. In Russia, none. Let's see. What do I talk with my blockers about? So I don't necessarily tell them a lot of information about the hitters. I think we have very different jobs and I don't know what they're doing a lot of the time. Like, I don't know the game plan necessarily a lot in the matches, and I don't know if that's a flaw of mine or what, but a lot of the communication I have with them right now is what they're actually doing. And they dictate almost what I do. So it's not really me trying to tell them to change most of the time or, block more cross or something like that. It's more of a collaboration about what they're doing. And then from there, because that's the first line of defense, especially in men's volleyball. If there's no block, they're going to score. Yeah. So it's about what they're doing. And then from that, I'm adjusting more of what I'm doing based on the block. So there's not a lot of moments where I'm like, hey, move in a little bit. If I see something pretty drastic, I'll say it, or I'll tell my setter to get over the net because he's not pressing over. But a lot of the information is from them to me. And in that way, we collaborate and I adjust my positioning.
Gotcha.
I got a question real quick, actually.
Yeah.
Do you, and on most of the teams that you've played, do you guys have like the middle or front row control whether they block or not, like on like an out of system, or do you control it? Because I've played on teams that have it go like they have the libero caller back row players, where I personally prefer to control the block at the net.
Here it's definitely the block. The middle blocker will kind of call it off. It's not always about being vocal, more about being big with your arms and kind of signaling to the back row that you're coming off. With Team USA, we've kind of gone back and forth because we've had trouble judging whether or not the person can hit the ball or not. So I think, I haven't played with these guys for 2 years now. I think the blockers are calling it because we found that when I'm in charge or another back row player, we just don't judge it right because we can't always see what's happening. Yeah. So I think the blockers are calling it and being big with their arms and their bodies just to make sure that we can kind of adjust our positioning according to them.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks.
Good one.
I'm just curious.
If the middle does it and we mess up, you can always just yell at the middle, right?
That's
blame the blockers.
For me, it's consistent. It's like, just ride or die. Like, if I make a mistake, I'll own up to it. But I really didn't like when I'm like all in for a block and I know we should be blocking, and all of a sudden someone from back row is like down, then my guys aren't going, and I'm like, all right, I hope you guys can dig this ball because it's coming. Have fun.
There's more inconsistencies when the diggers call it, I think, than the blockers. But when it's on the blockers, it's funny because they can make a nice move and like be off and tell us to move up on a down ball or whatever. But if we don't dig it, it's all about the blockers like not saying it. So I guess I would prefer the blockers do it just so they can get blamed more than I.
Fair.
All right. Next question from Rajal G. Who is your biggest inspiration as far as liberos?
Oh, as far as liberos.
These are some good questions. I'm proud of
These are good.
our little
I
community.
wonder if he's talking about like current players.
I think overall,
or
just in general. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any liberos that you take inspiration from at all?
None. I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to think. Well, the three liberos that were on the national team previously are mentors and friends of mine. Let's see, Erik Sullivan, who went to 2000 and 2004 Olympics, travels with us fairly often. He's a good friend, someone that mentors me and talks through being a libero with me. Let's see, Rich Lamborn went to Beijing and London, and I overlapped with him a year, and he was, he didn't necessarily have the best rep on the indoor national team, but for me, he was someone that was kind and nice and helped me out. So that was really cool to see for someone that had, people were always like, oh, he's so scary and intimidating and blah, blah, blah. He was a nice, awesome guy to me. So that was cool. And Alfie Reft, who never made an Olympics, but he was on the national team before and then also with me. He is the assistant at USD right now for the women's volleyball team. He's been a great friend for a long time, someone that I watched at the University of Hawaii and on the national team as well. So people that I've kind of like worked with and watched play are big inspirations. You know, my dad's team at the University of Hawaii has had some really great liberos, especially back in the old days when I was young, who I looked up to and were friends with. So I've been lucky. I feel like I've had a lot of people to look up to who are mentors, who are great people and great friends. And at the end of the day, honestly, I care more about if you're a nice person than how good you are at libero. And luckily all of them are nice people. So I've been pretty lucky with that.
All right. And the last one's from Max Bag 3. It says, how do you get better at reading hitters?
Watching video and playing more. I think you just need to get out there and play and gain experience, and through video you can kind of learn how hitters hit and where they're going to hit because of a different position they're in or a different angle of approach. But when I'm trying to read a hitter, I'm looking at the set, how that set dictates the angle of approach of the hitter, and honestly, even at a high professional level where the shoulders are kind of facing, it's going to dictate where the hitter's going to go and also where your block is. But I would say at a junior and college level, hitters give away so much of where they're going. And I think that in college, I was really good at reading, probably better at reading than I was at the overall technique of digging. And that helped me kind of just get digs. So yeah, I think just experience, playing a lot and watching a lot of video is going to help you get better.
Yeah, that's a good question. And that's been one of the hardest things as a coach for me. So like how to help your like on-court volleyball IQ and just like being able to read basically. It's like, it's a hard thing to coach because I can't like be in your head during a play. Like I can give you the tools. I can tell you where a ball might be coming for, put you in the right spot, but it's kind of up to you from then on. And I feel like you need to be like on the court and like almost have another player. Like for me, it was Nick Goodell. Like he made my volleyball IQ just like skyrocket because I was like constantly just probably annoying the crap out of him by like asking him why he did a certain thing during a match until I started just picking up on it on my own. But
yeah,
I don't know.
I think talking through it and then a lot of it is just playing. I don't know how else to explain how you're going to get better at volleyball except for playing volleyball. But
yeah,
you know, it's funny you say that because when I think back to that Stanford team, we were probably better volleyball players than we were physical volleyball players. We had a lot of guys from Hawaii. I'll brag about that. I feel like we're pretty good volleyball players. And we had an opposite, Evan Romero, who was a physical beast, but didn't have quite the volleyball IQ or experience that a lot of us from Hawaii did. And what he did was observe. He was a brilliant person. He is a brilliant person, you know, and he observed and watched film and asked questions. And through that, he was able to, you know, raise his volleyball IQ, raise his defensive play, his reading, his ability to get tips. You know, the little things that you really need from an opposite, you know, 1 or 2 points a set. He got so much better at that just from playing and watching and observing. And I think that was a huge reason we won. And I'm not bragging like, oh, it was only the Hawaii boys, but I think our IQ and ability to read the game and play the game almost put pressure on him to do it as well. So he played, and he's smart, and he learned and watched a lot of videos. So I think that's all you can do when you're a player.
Very true.
Yeah, don't be afraid to ask questions, for sure. Like, even if you think you're being annoying, or like if you don't, a coach says, do you understand what I'm saying? Don't nod if you don't understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. I had talked about this on like a USA Volleyball little post that they made me do, just about being able to ask for questions and ask for help. Because if I don't ask my teammates here in Russia for help or ask them questions, like I will be a hermit that doesn't eat, basically. You know, whether it's how to order food, or can they order me food, or can they give me a ride, you know, different things that make your life so much easier. And it's not like you're an idiot for doing it. It's just how life is. You know, they're going to come back and ask you for something tomorrow. So yeah, I think there's a point where there are stupid questions. I do believe that there are stupid questions, but if you don't get it, say it like you did. You put yourself out there. That's how you're going to get better.
Yeah. Shout out to Luke Braswell real quick. That man would ask me some stupid questions as a freshman, and I just look at him and say, Luke, think about it. And he'd be like, got it. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. And it's something I've gotten better at in my life. I think when I was younger, I just didn't understand how other people didn't get it. In volleyball, I started early. I had a father as a coach. So all these little advantages that I had, I didn't get why other people didn't have that, or like couldn't read that tip when I'm in middle back 30 feet away and you're like 5 feet away, you know, different things where I was just super annoying about it and didn't know how to help people. So I was a horrible teammate in that way, but I've learned and like gotten better, and you know, I need the help and other people are going to need it. So it's more of a group effort than anything.
Yeah, take it easy on us big, dumb Midwestern guys that don't know what's going on. We're just growing into our bodies, learning how to play in high school. Take it easy on us.
Yeah, it's like when people start in high school, I'm like, I started when I was 7. What are you talking about? But anyway, yeah.